Welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. And I am your host, Conrad Cushman, and we are here to review New Japan Pro Wrestling Dominion 2018. I just finished watching the show, literally, guys, a few moments ago. What an amazing show, and I'm going to talk about all of it in this. All the links and stuff are down below. Check it out. If you like the video, subscribe. Click the like button if you like it. Disagree, dislike, I don't care. Leave some comments down below if you got thoughts on the show. Let's get into it, guys. Now, I watched the English version of the show with that commentary team, which was Kevin Kelly and Don Callis. According to them, this was a 12,000 sellout crowd. So, very cool. The show starts off here with a video package with Harold George May, who is the New Japan Pro Wrestling CEO. He said president to some other people, so I assume it's interchangeable with the translation. So he basically says that he wants to bring New Japan all over the world, and he hypes up everything with what he's doing. Now, the first match we kick off the show with is for the IWGP Junior Tag Team titles. And it's got Roppongi 3K, Yo and Show with Rocky Romero versus El Desperado. And who is this? Yoshinobu Kanemaru. And it was a solid match. El Desperado and Kanemaru are the current IWGP Junior Tag Team Champions. It felt like a flat kind of match. I don't know. Something didn't click with these guys. Overall, I gave it a grade of a C-. The match does end with El Desperado basically winning with a roll-up. Not something you would see. I didn't think it was the hottest opener for the show. So, that's match one. Our second match is another tag team match, which was David Finlay and Juice Robinson versus Jay Switchblade, who was also the IWGP US Champion, and Yoshi-Hashi. Now, these guys basically fight back and forth. It's a short tag match once again, very similar to before. I gave it an overall of a C. There's not too much here to get excited about, but there's nothing that's like, this is god-awful horrible. It's over pretty quickly. Juice Robinson ends up hitting Jay Switchblade with the Pulp Friction, which is basically the kill switch. And Switchblade is down and out, and he's lost. And Juice Robinson basically picks up the IWGP US Championship, holds it up, and is showing that he wants to be the next challenger for the belt. And I think that's pretty cool, and he's earned his way in definitely doing that. So, pretty cool. Next, we get to another tag match. So we started off with 3 tag matches, and I know they're trying to fit everybody onto the card here, but got to do your best with that. We have Toru Yano, Ishii, who I love, and Zack Sabre Jr. and Minoru Suzuki. And this is a pretty cool tag match. Zack Sabre Jr. and Suzuki, I believe, are tag team champions in England, if I'm not mistaken, is what I thought they said. So they have some belts in this match. Basically, I left some small notes in here because this match isn't too long either. Follows the same thing. First, Ishii and Suzuki are just badasses. You have to love these guys. Truthfully, Ishii and Suzuki, I know Suzuki's 50 years old, and that man is still getting the pops of his life. He is truly, like I said, a badass. Shout out to everybody who's watching. I see people picking up. Feel free to talk in the chat, too. I can see you guys in there if you want. Zack Sabre Jr. is a submission machine. Him and Suzuki busted out so many submissions in this match. Very cool for when you guys check it out. Yano did okay in the match, but other than that, we got to see a little cameo from one of my favorites from the WWE light heavyweight division, Taka Michinoku. So that was pretty cool to see him come out there. The finish comes when Zack Sabre Jr. has a cool counter to the low blow where he catches the guy's arm and he basically puts him into a submission hold, and he ends up forcing Yano to tap out or submit. I don't even think he could because he was holding both of his arms, so he had to basically say, I quit. And after the match, we get this cool brawl with the 2 badasses, of course, Ishii and Suzuki, and they have a slap fest with each other. Old dudes just slapping each other back and forth, back and forth. So I thought that was pretty decent, and I think we're going to see a feud with these guys coming up, and I'm pretty excited to see it. Now we get to a match that surprised me a lot. It's the Never Open Triple Threat match, which had Taichi, Michael Elgin, and Hirooki Goto in it. And I did not know that Goto's neck was injured. At least that's what I saw from observing all of this. He looked like he was in some serious pain while performing in this. Now, what is it? Taichi, I'm not too familiar with his work before this, but he has a beautiful valet. And the girl definitely had excellent facials for this match. And she did it throughout the entire match. So I think she could be a potential star. And he definitely needs to figure out how to keep her. She is definitely the money maker for that combination, that team. For this match, Michael Elgin dropped about 40 pounds of weight, and he still looked jacked. Like, this guy must have busted his ass to make sure he looked good for this match. He did high-flying moves, and he carried this entire match, basically, is what I saw from it. It's a classic three-way match. You're going to see your spots of double teams and the usual stuff. And Elgin ends up pinning Taichi with a spin-out powerbomb. Well-deserved. I thought he looked the best in this match, and he deserved to win. So I'm happy to see him win. So I was wrong on my prediction for this one. So good job, Elgin. And for this match, I gave it the grade of a B. And the last one before this was a B minus, if I didn't say that. This match, I give a grade of a B. Next, we get to the tag team title match for the heavyweight IWGP tag titles. And the match is going to have the Young Bucks challenging Evil and Sanada for the tag belts. This match tells a pretty cool story. We all know that the Young Bucks are one of the best tag teams right now. They travel all over. They get to make their own demands. They're selling out. Now, they tell the story of Nick Jackson's injured ankle throughout the entire match. Nick Jackson can't hit the Indie Taker, the Meltzer Driver. He can't do too much of anything. And Matt Jackson ends up being the one taking a lot of the offense, taking control of the match, and trying to fight off everything. In the end, these guys are hitting super kicks towards the end, and you can see like Nick Jackson's making it seem like he's in pain from trying to even attempt this. He does an excellent job of selling, and they end up winning the IWGP Tag Team titles by using more bang for your buck, and that's the move that made them popular, that people looked up on YouTube. And after the match, we get a surprise. Don Callis is asked to be on the headset for All In, and so now we can confirm who one of the announcers are, at least. I don't know if they announced another one before. What's going on, Mr. Floodwater 123? Oh, yes. Oh, we're going to get to that match later on. Now, the next match we have here is the 6-man tag match, which had Jushin Thunder Liger, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Rey Mysterio Jr. versus the Bullet Club, if they're still that, with Marty Scurll, Hangman Page, and Cody. Cody Rhodes. I don't care about that BS that WWE tries to pull with it. So, guys, you have to check out this match if you're a fan of any of these guys. Now, I gave this match the overall grade of a C+. Not bad, and you'll see why. Basically, it's a solid match. Everyone gets their stuff in. One of the cool things were the entrances. Rey Mysterio had a very cool entrance. He had his mask on, and his mask was half of the classic Rey Mysterio, and the other half was the New Japan logo. And I thought that was so sweet how he did that and played it off, and it looked really cool. Like I said, solid match. Jushin Thunder Liger got his classic entrance. Tanahashi is like the John Cena in New Japan Pro Wrestling, so people were cheering him. Well, actually, he's not really like John Cena. Horrible. But Tanahashi was cheered. He did his air guitar stuff. And the Bullet Club. Some people like him, some people dislike him in New Japan. Now, they got their stuff in, and the match ends when Cody Rhodes hits the crossroads on Liger for the win. But it was a fun match, so don't think the C+ means anything bad. I usually have to elaborate on the C grades a little bit more. Fun match. We get to the 7th match, which was for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Will Ospreay defended the belt against Hirooki Takahashi. I'm sorry about that. Takahashi recently won the Best of the Juniors trophy, so that's why he's in the #1 contendership for this match. Now, this match starts with a dive, but then it slows down really bad. So if you're looking for fast-paced action in the very beginning of this one, you're not going to get it. But once it starts picking up, it gets really good. You get a lot of good exchanges back and forth. Towards the end here, there is a sick, basically, Takahashi has him in a triangle hold, which is one of his signature moves. And Will Ospreay picks him up and slams him. Takahashi holds on to the move. He ends up picking him up again and doing like another power bomb, but he slams him on his neck. It looked freaking brutal. Like, I felt so bad for Takahashi right there. Hopefully he's not hurt or injured from that. There were a lot of good reversals out of finishers here. And Takahashi hits the time bomb for the finish to regain the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. That match is another solid B. This is what I want from all my shows. These guys came through and they delivered once again. Not too many false finishes, for me at least. I mean, they had a couple in there, but they still kept you interested in the match, and they did a good job, in my opinion. Now we get to the two big main event matches. We have for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship, Chris Jericho versus Naito. What a match. And I'd be interested if you guys are in the chat and you, Flood, I know you said you saw it. Please let me know what you thought of this match in the comments down there, and I'll try and read some of it out without giving out the spoiler yet. So, Jericho and Naito had these larger-than-life kind of entrances with, like, rock star feeling to them. I don't know who Jericho was trying to be, but he came out with makeup, and there was, like, black eyeliner basically, like, slid down his face and over his eyes. It reminded me of, like, Kiss, kind of. And that's definitely something that if you know Chris Jericho or listen to his podcast, that's really Chris Jericho. So I thought that was very cool that they added that little touch onto it. Naito, he came out in his white suit, looked like a badass, still throwing around the Intercontinental Championship because he doesn't care and he thinks he's better than this. Pretty cool. He was getting some boos here too, which surprised me. Now, Red Shoes was the referee for this match. Just had to give him a little shout out here. He referees the next two matches. Early on in the match, Jericho, when Naito's coming to the ring for his entrance, Jericho just attacks him, and it turns into a fight, a major fight from the beginning. Chris Jericho was on point tonight. He didn't look like he was in the best in-ring shape, but Chris Jericho was at his best with telling a story inside of that ring. Now, early on in the match, Jericho gets a table and sets it up between the barricade and powerbombs Naito clean through the table. And if you've ever watched Botchamania or any of that stuff, there's always that table song, and I definitely was hoping that didn't happen, but Chris Jericho does his thing. He puts Naito through the table, and I thought it was cool. Jericho was an animal throughout the entire match, attacking Naito, making sure he stays on top of him. He's in pain. Naito's right eye ends up getting a bad cut underneath it, and he starts bleeding, and it just turns into a bigger fight. Naito ends up getting another cut throughout the match, and I don't know if it came from a ring rope or him doing a move, but his left cheek or ear started bleeding too, and you saw blood coming down from that side. So Naito looks like he's been in a hell of a fight and got his ass kicked. Now, where am I here? So there's another spot in this match where Jericho gets dropped on his neck by Naito, and it was brutal again. I mean, in New Japan, guys, they're a little bit more reckless and they can do more stuff. But this is why WWE is safe, because no one wants to get dropped on their neck, man, like that. I like the brutality that you missed in WWE. Thanks, Flood. So we get to this ending, and Naito ends up getting the false finish with his finisher here. And he goes for his finisher again, and it gets reversed. Jericho ends up pushing the ref out of his way a little bit to kind of like stop a run move from happening. And he ends up hitting a low blow and connecting with his second code breaker on Naito. 1, 2, 3. I could not believe. I was shocked that Chris Jericho became the IWGP Intercontinental Champion. I know that Jericho wasn't slated to, I don't know, it feels weird Jericho winning this because I'm so used to Jericho losing the big fight and putting the other guy over that it feels pretty cool to have Jericho win this match. So kudos to who booked this. I can't wait to see what happens. Now, after the match, there is Jericho basically still taunting Naito, kicking him, slapping him in the face. He takes off his belt and actually starts to whip Naito with the belt until Evil runs out, who was in the tag match earlier, and he comes out to make the save, and it looks like Jericho and Evil could be the next matchup that we see between those two. Pretty cool. This match I gave a B+ to. It was a little bit sloppy at some parts, but Chris Jericho did a damn good job with this, and so did Naito. And I look forward to see what both of them end up doing coming up for New Japan's next show. We'll see where they go from here. And now we get to, what did you say, Flood, here? The tables seem to be much tougher in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Oh, yeah. You can hear it now, the Botchamania, I am the table. Those tables rarely break sometimes. And in one of these other matches here, you can see some of them, people were landing on them. They actually, I'm sorry, let me go back to the Jericho-Naito match real quick. There were spots where people got DDT'd, and I think someone got pile drove through a table, and they didn't break at all. So those tables are very tough, Flood, and I agree with that. Let's get to the last match, guys. The main event. Kenny Omega versus Okada. They play a video package highlighting the history between these two. Basically, it goes through everything with Kota Ibushi, the Bullet Club, and his matches with Okada. And, man, what a history that they've had if you haven't been watching this. Kenny Omega comes out and he looks ripped as well. He looks like he's been training for months for this match, and he knows what time it is. They came up, it said the best bout machine, and I have to give New Japan credit because that is who this guy is. And Okada came out, once again, this guy looks like a star. WWE, I know you would be foolish to not try and pick up either one of these guys. And do they even want to go there? Probably not. But these are two of the talents that you should definitely have your eyes on to try and pick up. Back to the review here. So, the story of the feud is basically what happens if Kenny Omega can hit the one-winged angel. Because Okada, anytime he's been hit with it, he has not been able to kick out of it. But since they've had this feud with each other, he can't hit the move. It's well scouted, and he blocks it every time. Simple story, right? So, we get the first pinfall in the match. Because this goes a long time. And I'm not going to get into all the little things with you guys. You can sit there and watch it. If you want to, go watch this match now. Because this match actually got a grade of an A+ for me. Seriously, I thought it was really good. You have to sit there, and it's going to be a long match. But it's well worth it. So around the 30-minute mark, you get the reversal of a roll-up, trapping both of the legs, a la British Bulldog Bret Hart SummerSlam 92. What a pinfall. Okada's got the first pinfall. Second fall comes when Kenny Omega finally hits the one-winged angel after a V-trigger, and he hits that, and amazing. Third fall starts up immediately. Kenny Omega quickly goes to attack Okada, and he reverses and hits a Rainmaker. The match is back and forth, and we get to see some cool stuff in this match. Kenny Omega hit a Styles Clash. Okada hit 2 more Rainmakers without making a pinfall because they were so tired. But the match ends upon Kenny Omega hitting the V-trigger once again and the one-winged angel. He could not kick out of him either time, so it told an excellent story for the fans to get into. Now, Kenny Omega has finally won the IWGP Heavyweight title, and you would be surprised because this match is over an hour long. His buddy Kota Ibushi's out there, and he's in the ring to celebrate with him as part of the Golden Lovers. They're in the ring celebrating. The Young Bucks come out with their newly won IWGP Tag Team titles, and they're out there celebrating. He cuts a passionate promo in the ring in Japanese and in English, and he basically says he's here to stay. He's going to take New Japan to new levels, sell out more arenas. He's got big plans to make New Japan even bigger than it is. And I think that's pretty cool for him. And after a celebration and he gets all of his stuff, Cody Rhodes makes his way out. And Cody looks at him, and they're trying to invite him to come into the ring to celebrate with them or like tell him to come down here. And Cody Rhodes ignores the Bucks and walks towards the back. So you know this is building to a feud between Cody and Kenny Omega. And I can't wait to see them actually clash in a match. Now, overall, guys, I give this show an A-. I thought they did a tremendous job. The beginning's a little bit slower, but the last few matches are really, really good. I would say all the matches are really good from that